Bak Kut Teh is enjoyed by the Chinese diaspora throughout Southeast Asia. Today at the Alexandra Village Food Centre, we're trying the Hokkien version of this hearty dish.
And welcome back to Mako's Makan Adventure. Today we are at the Alexandra Village Food Centre and we're trying some Bak Kut Teh from the Claypot pork rib soup stall. This soup stall has actually been going since 1979 and it's now the third generation of Bak Kut Teh sellers who are now here at Alexandra serving Bak Kut Teh today. The Bak Kut Teh we've got here is a Hokkien variant. So much like we've experienced with rice porridge and other dishes, Bak Kut Teh has different variants. This is the Hokkien variant, which is more of a herbal soup, as opposed to the Teochew version, which is more peppery and garlicky. Bak Kut Teh is literally pork rib tea. And the idea is that we have our pork rib soup here, the pork rib tea, and a side of rice with some dipping sauce as well. The Bak Kut Teh is actually found throughout Southeast Asia where the Chinese diaspora have settled. It's a bit of a comforting dish, a hearty dish as you will, very traditional Chinese dish, particularly in this area. And bearing in mind, I've been awake since 3 o'clock this morning to watch, unfortunately, England lose the European Championship final. I need something a bit hearty to keep me going. So let's dig in and see what it's about. First off, I'm gonna go with a broth. I'm gonna get myself a nice bit. This is a dark coloured broth, and you can see very watery broth, dark in colour, and it's got some what look like it's got large pieces of pork rib and some coriander leaf that are floating in it. I'm gonna get a little bit of that. So the first thing you get, there is a meatiness. I mean, you can see we've got our pork ribs, bones still on, and that lends to a meatiness with the broth. And that's the first thing I'm getting as I as it comes through. But then there is a herbal feel to it, almost where it's got those Chinese spices. And yeah, it's very warm. Well, it's actually hot in temperature as well. It's Claypot cooked and they heated it there on the Claypot before we had it. But very warm, very nice. And as I say, much like some of the other dishes that we've experienced on the channel, if it was cold here, but if particularly raining or slightly colder temperature, I'd say this would be a nice dish, nice and comforting to have. Let's get some of this pork rib now. I'm going to try it on its own without the sauce first. So first off, that is so tender. That pork rib just falls apart. And there is a bit of flavour in there as well. I mean, I think I had a bit of coriander with it. I mean, look at that. I'm going in there with my chopsticks and it's just falling apart. Look at that, so tender. And when you've got pork ribs, you want it cooked for that long, so it just falls apart. And then all those little bits of tendon as well, they're just going to break down and be edible. And cooking it for that long, as we said a second ago, really imparts a flavour into that broth. So as I said before, the first thing that you get with that broth is a real meatiness. Now, my chopstick game isn't very good today. As I said, I've been up a while. So I'm going to grab a bit of it now. I'm going to dip it in the sauce. The sauce is what's known as dark sauce with some chili pieces in. So it's got a few little bits of the chili patty there. And some are closing up for the night because it is around 9 o'clock. Still open, but some others are closing, so it's a little bit noisy. I'm just going to dip it in this sauce and So first off, It's sweet, it's sticky, it's almost got a molasses feel to it. Maybe a little bit licoricey as well. But then, because we put those chili patties in seeds as well, and because you're in Singapore, why not? Always add the chilies. Yeah, there's some heat that's coming through with it as well. Wow, yeah, it's nice though. I'm just gonna get a little bit more on. It's so sticky. It's sticky, it's spicy. And yeah, I think that there's almost a molasses and star anise type flavour going on with it, I think, almost. I could be wrong, probably am, but it's what I'm getting. Let's get another bit of it. So yeah, that meat's falling apart, sticky sweet sauce. Oh, it's beautiful. Try a bit of the rice. So the rice is excuse me. The rice is a little bit sticky. Not too sticky, but clumped together. Not like Thai sticky rice, but it is a little on the sticky side. But then with that broth, carries the flavour really well. So you've got, you've got in effect your filler to go with what is a really flavoursome broth. I can't even put words to what flavours coming through. I imagine it's almost, it feels like there's some of those Chinese spices there. Whether there's some, I don't know, wolf berries, goji. I mean, I can't see any wolf berries or goji berries, but whether there's like star anise that's been cooked in it. I mean, it's not bitter. There's none of these whole spices left in, unless it's in a tea bag, hence Bak Kut Teh. I don't know, but yeah, the only thing that's actually in this broth is ribs, maybe a few pieces of garlic and coriander. But I can tell from the taste, there's more than just garlic and coriander in it. There we have it, Bak Kut Teh, Hokkien style, from Claypot pork rib soup in Alexandra Village Food Centre. What did I think? It was pretty good. It was more than pretty good. It was really good. The broth, which holds the main event, this bowl here, that is the Bak Kut Teh, the pork rib tea. The broth was herbal, not peppered and garlicky like the Teochew version, but really herbal. Quite nice, it was a different flavour altogether. I can't even put words on what it is, but there was that background of pork. There was a real meatiness to it as well. And I think that comes from those pork ribs, and they are big. I mean, look at the size of that. I mean, this is just one of them. Here's another. We've got pork ribs, big pork ribs in here, and they're cooked for a while. And we can see that they're cooked for a while because the meat just falls off. So by cooking them for as long as they have, we've got the flavour from that pork coming into our Bak Kut Teh. We've got the meat falling off the bone, and it's been cooked long enough that, I mean, we've got a nice little bit there that's got those pork tendons as well, and they are soft. They've got a little bit of crunch, but they're edible. It's not like they're inedible. They're nice. And then when you put it with this sticky sauce as well, you dip the meat in there, and it's a nice, sweet, hot, spicy flavour that comes to it. And that, it's so sticky. When you dip that meat in, it just coats the meat. It sticks to it, and then the flavour just gets carried as well. So for this bowl of bak kut teh and for the rice, that came to a total of $6.50, 6 Singapore dollar 50, which is approximately £3.75. So it's more than some other stalls might be, but then you've got a lot more meat, and that meat has been cooked for a lot longer. As I started having some of that rice with the broth, I just felt like I was using up too much I was using up too much broth for the rice. It was just so good on its own. I didn't want to do that. I ended up combining the rice with the dipping sauce. Probably not what I'm supposed to do, but I needed the rice. The rice was nice. Add the sauce, it's all good. Yeah, I'd thoroughly recommend Leon Key Claypot pork rib soup. Third generation of people making and selling bak kut teh. It's currently run by a kind lady whose father told her what to do. She's often helped by her brother, and just to make sure that they are sticking to the plan, her father does still get involved. He's actually running a noodle stall just up there. So it's still a family affair, and I thoroughly recommend it. Thanks a lot for watching the video, and for some similar content, either click here or click here. And yeah, thanks for watching.